Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for December 2nd, 2021, the Verifiable Proof Edition. And we begin with that story from SportsIllustrated.com. The EU has called for verifiable proof that Chinese tennis star Peng is safe. It appears that the Chinese government has severely misplayed this, what started off as a sporting issue and, of course, became a sexual harassment issue when Peng Shuai revealed that allegations of sexual harassment against a Communist Party member, which were immediately taken down by the Chinese government from her social media accounts, and now the Chinese government will not allow her to be independently verified as safe. This is not the NBA losing money. These are real companies and real countries standing up to this type of activity from the Chinese government. So you may have another risk to worry about in China. Next up, from MSNBC, it posits that corruption is dooming the state of Texas to another power tragedy. In addition to the idiot governor of the great state of Texas, Greg Abbott, blaming wind power failure for the 1-week power outage, the state has basically done nothing to prevent this from occurring again, and indeed created broader loopholes that allow companies not to do anything. And, Abbott's praying that we don't have another winter apocalypse because of the corruption in his administration around the Public Utility Commission and Texas Railroad Commission, who oversee these industries. So Elizabeth Warren calls out more corruption in Texas. Next up, from the Elizabeth Holmes trial, New York Times reporting that Elizabeth Holmes finally admitted that perhaps mistakes were made, when confronted with various emails and other communications that she'd engaged in over the years. And this came in the cross-examination from the prosecution. And I must say, I find this very damning to her defense that she was bullied by her partner, Sunny Bilwani. And finally, Myanmar has filed new corruption charges against former President Aung San Suu Kyi and Nobel Prize winner, claiming that when civilian governments held sway in Myanmar, that corruption existed, and that's why the government had to take over the country again. So more regime change leading to more allegations of corruption in Myanmar. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.